What's up? What's up? We in here. And you already know how it goes, right? You already know how I do it. So, let's get right to it, right? When reality sticks, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this entail, right? How does one accept the situation or circumstance that is and can be presented, right? And when you are honest, when you're sincere, when you know what you want and you need in life, right? And you know what that entails, right? And what do you do? Hopefully, right? Hopefully, one will accurately go in to doing that, to doing what they need. And as I always say, right? If you know, then you know. Everyone is different. Everyone is individually them, and their life is uniquely justified to that course or cause in formation, right? And one of the things that I've learned, one of the things that I've become very aware of when it comes to reality and making something stick. Hmm. What does it boil down to, right? What does it really come down to when that thought is risen? Making something stick, making something right there. And it's not going nowhere, right? What is that? Is it something that is done? Is it something that's said? Is it something that's only done? Only said? Or do you gotta, as I would say, right, do those double, triple combos, right? And just get in there and mix some things up and really implement your foundation, right? And again, over time, one of the things I've come to understand is just how much, just how easy it can be to be misdirected, misguided when you go from the outside to help what's within you, right? When you look or you ask and you get information from others, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's associates, whether it's business partners, right? Or whether even, hey, it could even be your children. When you know, right? Information is fundamental and it could go a little bit of everywhere, right? So who's to say what piece of information is not going to be that just cause to start something, to be that motivation, to be that inspiration, to set sights for the progress, right? And how do you know? How do you observe? How do you document? How do you solidify? How do you even finalize what is stamped, what is stuck in reality, right? And only you know your reality. Only you know what is real and what isn't real, right? And who's to say that it's wrong? Who's to say that it's right? Who's to say that it should or shouldn't be? Right? It's one of those things I always say that should be definitely picked up, So should definitely be welcomed, right? How one can know something, can do something, can achieve and accomplish something, and it's just that, right? There's no need to put emphasis, there's no need to put title, there's no need to even pat yourself on the back, right? Because sometimes you gotta go with the flow of the direction, if that makes sense, right? Because if you're not going with the flow of the direction, where are you going, right? Where is the thought process? Where is the end? Where is the stuckness? Where is the reality? Where is the purpose? So, what is the purpose, right? So, looping it back around, looping it back around, looping it back around. Being stuck in reality, being aware of your reality, of those you associate with, right? Those that you communicate with, those that you share your life with, those that you bridge a gap to or for, right? Depends on the individual, as I always say. Again, when you know, you know. It's, you know, the being stuck part, the being, hmm, am I where I need to be at the right time, at the right moment, at the right place? Or are there other avenues, other equations, other points of factors, other justice cause that can move or react or even bring something about? Can it be a reality, right? If you're stuck in it, right? Going through loops. What's your reality? What really is your reality? If one is simply swirling in an undigested system of thoughts, worries, fears, conclusions, possibilities, things that has been, things that could be, things that I want to do still, right? Where are you? Where is your stance? Where is your building? Where is your foundation? Where are you, right? When it comes to being stuck in reality. Because I'm just going to say it. Sometimes, again, we need to bridge the gap of shaking off the illusions, right? And understanding, period. What is really being done, what is really being said, and what is really being enforced, right? Because sometimes, are you always hearing what you think you hear? Or is it simply something of comfort, something to soothe, something to tie, something to merge, something that, again, should it be or should it not be? That is the question, right? When it comes to you and your reality. And whether or not you can be stuck, you will be stuck, or you will allow the process to go, to grow, and to really accept your part to play in it. But I got a question about that, right? I got a question about that. So, to my question, can you do, can you plan, can you structure your life without connection of others? Right? And what do I mean by this? For those that know, right, I often say I often say you gotta get rid of the entitlement, right? You gotta just know your part and play your part, right? And sometimes, can you play your part and the next person play theirs? Yet at the same time, there's a mixture, right, of what I would call infiltrators, right? Those that portray to play a part, to know a part, to say or stamp a certain position, a certain part, a certain reality. Yet is it always true to surface, true to unmask, true to really understand, right? And sometimes I just sit back and observe how certain things play out for me, right? For me, I always ask the questions. And like I say, when you know me, you gotta ask the questions, right? Because if you don't have that accuracy, right? If you don't have that clarity, if you don't have true feelings, I'm throwing it in there, right? Of respect, mutual establishment. If that's not there, things can be said. And of course, when you know, right? When something said isn't something done or isn't something set back, right? And it goes into a cycle of a loop of things being said, things being done. And what's the point and what's the purpose? Right? And you gotta ask yourself, why? Why me? Right? If you're me, I always analyze from personal stance, right? So that I can adequately divide, adequately share whatever it is that's needed, right? Because sometimes you don't know what's needed until it's said, right? Because you can just give and share, and who's to say it's not being used, right? Who's to say that it's not being put into something, right? Who's to say that what information, what energy, what emotion that's being shared, that's being spread, is not being used, right? And when you share things, when you share information, when you share energy, when you share time, when you share you, shouldn't you know where it's going? Shouldn't you know who else is enjoying the benefits? If I'm making sense, right? Because I don't know, that's just me. If I want to share with one, right, I know that it's solo bolo going to that one. Likewise, if I want to share to that group, that community, that business, that family, right? I know where it's going. I know the intentions of the purpose of the process in which it was needed, right? Now let's flip it. Let's take it to the other side of that, right? What if that time, as I said, that energy, as I mentioned, is being shared, is being benefited, is being enjoyed. Yet all of the people of the parties is not noted and accounted for. Right? Like a class field trip. You gotta look at the list and make sure that all of the little babies is all there, right? If we came with 20, we should leave with 20. We shouldn't leave with the 15, right? Or we shouldn't even leave with the 25. We shouldn't have less or more than what we came with, right? Unless, of course, that intent and purpose is equally agreed upon between everyone, right? Because this is one of the things, again, I've noticed to experience, right? Do people say everything? Do people really share everything that they're saying, that they're doing, that they're benefiting from, right? Especially when let me break it down a little, right? Especially when it comes to family, right? And hey, for those that know, you gotta love family. Who doesn't? That's us, extensions from source, right? And if you know, we are all one, right? So we're all family in that sense of formation, right? But let's just go back to the individual. Right? We all have family. Sometimes our families can be big, right? Sometimes our families can be spread out, right? Sometimes our families, we didn't even know we was family. We didn't, I don't even, who are you? Where did you come from? How did this happen? When, right? It's always a when. It's always a how. It's always the why sometimes, right? Because don't you just love the why? Why is something happening? Why is something happening? Why did I not know? Right? Because, again, do we share everything? When it comes to family, are our families all one still? Right? Do we not know, or do we know everyone? Right? Who is a part of, who is connected to us, right? In one shape, form, or fashion. It doesn't matter if they're younger or if they're older, right? There's connections of us everywhere, generations everywhere, right? And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the stretch of the parts, of the portions of what it should be, what should be taken accounted for, what should be agreed upon, what should be shared, what should be received, what should be, right? When it comes to family, when it comes to family, where does the pecking order go? Who says what? Who dictates what? Who is the spokesperson when it comes to the family, right? And hey, I'm gonna share a move. I'll divulge the truth on my aspect of it. Ah, gotta love family, right? Shout out to family. And all of the mess that family can be, right? And how much you can find out, right? And how much you can really begin to know and understand, right? When you start breaking certain things down and you start asking questions and you start figuring out why, right? Why was it always the arguments at the get togethers, right? Why did the get together stop, right? Why did certain people once was and now where do they go? Right? Just certain questions of, hmm, you know what? I think it's about time I get some clarity, right? Because certain things can happen, certain things can connect. And when you know, right? Connect the dots. Doesn't it get to that certain boiling point and it's like, uh-oh, well, I'm finished now. Everything is all connected. There's no more missing pieces, and I got it. Bingo. I found it, right? Like, I know what it is now. I see the whole picture, not just part of the picture, but I see the whole picture. And once you begin to see the whole picture, right, you can begin to understand why some things are, right? And why certain people say things, right? And I don't know, maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just my life, right? But hmm, have you ever noticed how you can say be the talk of subject, right? The hot topic. Yet in truth, right? In reality, where are you? You MIA. You know where to be found. You know where to be seen. You know where to you be heard of. It's like, when was the last time I talked to such and such, and when, who, and what, and why, and how did you know that? Because I thought, right? Certain questions you just gotta ask. Why do people mention certain names, right? Why do people mention certain words, right? When it comes to speaking, sharing, divulging information, right? Why are certain, as I recall, this is just me, what are certain trigger words, yeah, I said that right, start to pop up, right? And the type of trigger words I'm speaking of, right? Because there's so many different ones to have, and there's so many different reasons to have them, right? For intents or purposes of understanding, trigger words that leave feelings, such as being left out, being forgotten, being misunderstood, being unseen, right? Why do certain people, again, we're still a family here, right? Will say certain words, right? As I said, to trigger certain feelings, certain reactions, certain emotions, certain, can I say it again? Cycles or loops. Hmm, right? For me, when you know, right? And when you know, you begin to understand why certain things are said, right? Whether they're in front of you, straight to your face, or they're being said behind your back, right? Outside, around the corner, on the you don't know because you didn't hear it from me kind of thing, right? Why? Why does this happen? Why does this process of connection when it comes to family, right? And for me, I'm just gonna be honest, because I figured it out. Again, for me, I figured out the whole method to being stuck, right? To being set in loop, to be put in on a clock, if that makes sense, right? Like clock in is work time, get to it already. So for me, when it comes down to it, you already know my method. I I felt the necessity to share, right? And hopefully it finds those that it's needed for. Because you never know, right? Someone might have the same experience, and hey, with those questions, the unfolding will begin to unravel and enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy the process of understanding. Finally understanding your life, right? Finally understanding who's really in your life, right? Because that's again another, hmm, do you know who is who, right? Do you know the person, so to speak, behind the energy, right? Two different things. The person is the body, right? The energy is really, can you really unmask the mask to become aware, right? Because awareness is very, very crucial. Awareness is very, very key in critical thinking, common sense. And like I always say, can we make it make sense, right? Can we make it make sense? Because sometimes, does it always make sense, right? Does it always smoothly, effortlessly work out as certain things are said, as certain things are done, as certain things are being built, right? And when you begin to understand why certain people, why certain events, right? Why certain phases of acceptance, why certain hugs of admiration, why certain steps to include people, right? Why does this happen? Why is this certain particular events, a social grouping, social gatherings, social lean, period, right? Why do certain people socialize versus why are others not socializing? When it's a social gathering, right? When it's the whole purpose of the intent and parts to play, right? So you gotta ask the questions. Why does something happen when it could? And if it could, why didn't it? And if it didn't, why can I not? And when you begin to see, because you asked, and you began to observe the observation of the display, right? Of the picture, of the image, of what is really happening, what really is being done, and who is really being incorporated, right? Who is really a part of it, right? And you gotta take account. You gotta take account. Are all the people that are in play, at play, right in front of your face, right? Or do you have those that are behind the scenes, right? And when you know, right? Like the Wizard of Oz, the whole behind the curtain, right? The whole illusion of the Oz was a man behind the curtain. So again, do you know the person Do you know the energy? Are they the same? Are they similar? Did it match? Did it meet up? Is the authenticity there? Is it accurate? How do you know? How can you tell? Do you allow just certain things to be said, to be put into play? Or do you ask the questions until you find out? Do you make sure that your life is strictly being played, strictly being shared and benefited based off of accuracy within you and what you want and how you want it, right? Because I'm just gonna say it and then I'm gonna hop on out, right? When you know. And people, especially family, right? People can be a little funny. People can be a little tricky. People can be a little, what's the right word? I'm gonna see if I can do it just because I want to do it, if that makes sense, right? So, know who's who. Know who is in your life. Know why they are in your life. Awareness to detail in what's being said and what is not being said. What's being overlooked? What's not being overlooked? What's being taken for granted or what's being benefited? Who's benefiting? Are you sure it's only those that has been stated? Right? Because again, you know. Sometimes you got the background, right? Sometimes you have to pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. And can you do it? Do you dare? Or are you full of fear? Don't know, but you gotta ask the self and always remember that self love, that self healing is that self going to mastering self love. Till the next time, peace out.